Ladies and gentlemen, today I wish to share with you some reflections on a topic that is often overlooked, one that lingers in the shadows of our highly social and interconnected world, the life of a woman with no friends. We live in a world where friendship is celebrated, where social connections are considered a cornerstone of happiness and fulfillment, where having a circle of people to share your joys, your sorrows, your ups and downs is viewed as a given, almost a requirement. But what about those who do not have that? What about those who walk alone, who face the challenges of life without a close-knit circle of friends to rely on, to confide in, to lean on? From the earliest moments of our lives, we are taught that friendships are one of the most important aspects of a fulfilling existence. We are encouraged to make friends in school, to build relationships, to connect with others. This message is reinforced time and again by the media we consume, movies, TV shows, books, all depicting groups of friends who are inseparable, who experience life's highs and lows together, who are always there for each other. These portrayals create a picture-perfect image of what it means to live a good life. They suggest that happiness is found in the companionship of others. That fulfillment comes from being surrounded by people who care about you. But what if, despite your best efforts, you do not have friends? What if, for reasons that are not always easy to explain, you find yourself walking through life alone? What if, as a woman, you find yourself with that circle of friends that society tells you is so essential? This is the reality for many women, though it is rarely spoken about, rarely acknowledged. It is a reality that exists in the quiet corners of society, hidden behind polite smiles and the mask of normalcy that we all learn to wear. The reasons why a woman might find herself friendless are numerous and complex. There is no single explanation, no one-size-fits-all answer. For some women, it is simply a matter of personality. Perhaps she is introverted by nature, someone who finds social interactions exhausting rather than energizing. She might be the kind of person who feels more at peace when she is alone, who finds comfort in solitude rather than in the company of others. In a world that often glorifies extroversion, where being outgoing and sociable is seen as the norm, women who are more reserved can sometimes be misunderstood, judged, or overlooked. They might find it difficult to connect with others, not because they do not want to, but because the effort required feels overwhelming. For other women, the lack of friends is tied to past experiences that have left scars. Perhaps she has experienced betrayal, has been let down by those she trusted, or has been hurt by people she thought were her friends. These experiences can leave a mark, can make a woman wary of opening herself up to others, fearful of being hurt again. She may have tried in the past to build connections, to reach out, only to have those efforts met with rejection or indifference. Over time, the walls come up, the heart becomes guarded, and it becomes easier to stay in the safety of solitude than to risk the pain of another disappointment. There are also women who find themselves without friends because of the demands of life. In today's world, life is often hectic, fast-paced, and filled with responsibilities that leave little room for personal relationships. There are single mothers who are so consumed with the task of raising their children, managing their households, and holding down jobs that they have no time left for themselves, let alone for nurturing friendships. There are women who are caregivers who devote their days and nights to looking after a sick parent, a disabled child, or a partner who needs constant care. For these women, their energy is spent on survival, on making it through each day, on fulfilling the responsibilities that are placed upon them. Let us not forget the women whose lives have taken them far away from the people they once knew. There are those who have moved to new cities or even new countries, leaving behind their social networks, their familiar surroundings, their comfort zones. Building new friendships as an adult is no easy task. Unlike in childhood or adolescence, where friendships often form naturally through shared activities like school or sports, adulthood can be an isolating time. People are busy, preoccupied with their own lives, and the opportunities to connect with others can be few and far between. For some women, the feeling of being an outsider is a constant companion. Perhaps they live in a community where they are different in their beliefs, in their background, in their way of life. They might feel that they do not fit in, that they are not understood, that they are somehow separate from those around them. This sense of being on the outside can create a barrier that is difficult to overcome. Even when they try to reach out, to connect, to find common ground, they may feel that they are met with indifference or even hostility. What is it like to be a woman with no friends? It is a question that many people do not think to ask, but for those who live it, the experience is profound. It can be a life of contradictions, of paradoxes. On one hand, there is a certain freedom that comes with solitude. Without the demands and expectations of friendships, a woman can focus on herself, on her own needs, her own desires. She can dedicate her time to her passions, her hobbies, her interests. She can learn to enjoy her own company, to become comfortable in her own skin, to find strength and peace in being alone. But on the other hand, there is a profound sense of loneliness that can accompany this solitude. Human beings are, by nature, social creatures. We crave connection, the feeling of being seen, heard, understood. For a woman with no friends, there are days when the silence is deafening, when the isolation feels like a heavy weight pressing down on her chest. There are moments where she longs for someone to talk to, someone to thoughts with, someone to share her thoughts with, someone to simply be there. The holidays, weekends, and special occasions can be especially difficult. When everyone around her is celebrating with friends, when the world seems to be filled with laughter and joy, she may feel like she is on the outside looking in, like a ghost observing a world that she is not a part of. The feeling of being invisible, of being forgotten, can be overwhelming. And yet, despite all of this, the woman with no friends continues to move forward. She wakes up each day, puts one foot in front of the other, and does the best she can. She finds ways to cope, to make her life meaningful, even without the companionship that others take for granted. She learns to be resilient, to rely on herself, to find strength in places that others might overlook. In a society that often judges women harshly for being different, it is important to remember that having friends or not having friends is not a measure of a person's worth. A woman without friends is not less valuable, less capable, or less deserving of happiness. She is simply living her life in a way that is different from the norm. And that is okay. Each person's journey is unique, shaped by their own experiences, challenges, and circumstances. There is no single path to happiness, no one right way to live a fulfilling life. If you know a woman who seems to be alone, who does not have friends, do not judge her. Do not assume that she is cold or unfriendly or difficult to get along with. Instead, offer her your kindness, your compassion, your understanding. Sometimes all it takes is one person reaching out, one person showing that they care to make a world of difference. Because in the end, whether surrounded by friends or walking alone, every woman deserves to be seen, to be heard, to be valued for who she is. And if that woman is you, if you are the one who feels like you are walking through life alive, know that you are enough, just as you are. Your journey, though it may be different from those around you, is still meaningful. You have a story worth telling, a life worth living, and you are never truly alone as long as you hold on to the hope of a brighter tomorrow. Thank you for listening.